Welcome to Turning Hard Times to Good Times. I'm your host, Jay Taylor. Really pleased to have my good friend Chen Lin with me once again. Welcome, Chen. Thanks for joining me again.
Thank you, Jay. So glad to be back.
Well, it's 2026, and I'm seeing gold is up $106 today, $4,614. Silver's up $6 or so, 85, 86. So obviously, those of us who are in the precious metals sector are pretty happy about things so far this year. And so we want to talk about that for sure, but just give us an overview of what you think 2026 might look like. I think it's impossible to know, obviously, and it seems like it's more tumultuous, more uncertain than many years, but just what are your thoughts?
Well, last time we talked, it was silver, silver, silver all the way, and then
Exactly.
I'm so glad silver really break out. There are still a lot of people are shorting silver, like a
Mhm.
TD Bank, right?
Yeah.
They're cheap strategists. They just shorted silver. He shorted silver $50 and he got blowout. He
Uh-huh.
just recently short silver at 80. Probably gonna blow out
Getting
again.
blown
His
out
name is
again.
Daniel Ganley. I feel sorry for him. There's all these people they has a passion to short, even just on paper market. So I'm very pleased. I think silver the way it looks like going to triple digit this year. It probably could reach in the first half of this
Hmm.
year. And going after that, if a triple digit, can silver hold triple digit? That's a big, big, big question. And I think I'm going to talk that in my presentation at
Huh?
the MIF Metal Investment Forum VRAC. I welcome people to come to my panel.
Yeah, that's
My
coming up
point
now,
is
Chen. That's coming up here
about,
very
yeah, a
soon.
week or two. Yeah,
Yeah,
2 weeks.
I'll be there front row to hear what you have to say, Chen.
Yes,
I'll
thank you.
be
Thank
there
you, Jay.
as a spectator this time, not to
I appreciate that.
to be
So my
punished.
point is, really the question is monetization. If
Right.
silver is going to be monetized or not, right? Silver, especially China. China treated silver as money. If you go to Chinese bank on the door, it says silver. You go in there to get your
Uh-huh.
silver. So if China monetize silver, that silver go to triple digit, stay there for a long time. If it
Uh-huh.
doesn't, I suspect silver probably will peak, will come down. But it
Well,
will be at a pretty high level because silver will be a critical metal for the United States, for China.
yeah.
It's coincidentally actually the same time. That's when we were talking last time.
Hmm.
Both United States and China recognize silver as a critical metal, same
Hmm.
as the rare earths. Okay, it's very critical. Why? Very simple, Jay. Look at the Ukraine where they are fighting with drone, right? The drone, there's
Right.
millions of drones fighting each other in Ukraine. And
Yeah.
then the future of the warfare will be fought by drone, by robot, by unmanned ships, by all these things back and forth.
And
Each
all of them take a lots of silver. Is that the point?
well, not a lot. They take tiny little bit.
Tiny bit,
Each
but there's
drone
a lot of
has a controller, has all these things. Silver is the best conductor. Silver is the best also both in the electricity and thermal. So there's no replacement of silver. Okay, there will be a tiny little bit silver on each drone.
right.
But you imagine if it's right now Ukraine is millions of drones, right? Imagine the future will be billions of drones. Then how much silver you need? I think Trump uh, administration is very smart. So they already recognized last October that silver is critical. And then China immediately realized, oh shit, I need to. So within, excuse my language, within 1 week, China lists the silver as a critical metal too, same as tungsten, same as antimony, right? China already published they will have potentially export control on silver starting this year. So this is what happening. So the fight of silver is here. So this silver will be very critical for a lot of countries. I expect a lot of stockpile of
Right.
all the countries. They will start to stockpile some silver. But eventually will lead to we know all the metals. Eventually, a lot of silver mine will get started. We see a lot of new silver.
There's a little
Eventually,
supply coming
right,
on.
supply will come in, but it
Yeah.
will take a few years. Right?
Yeah.
So that's what I think. It will likely spike this year. And the key is really the outlook of the world. If are we near third World War III, or are we going to monetize silver? So those are the two key questions that's determine what strategy going forward. But I see, silver probably will stay high for a long time.
For a long time. Okay.
Mhm.
But once you get to triple digits, you think maybe not quite as aggressive then.
Well, I'm already taking profit.
Yeah.
I told my subscriber, originally my target was 50. I came from very low base, right?
Yes, of
From
course.
teens. I originally 50. I talked to Aerostar office. They said 50, no triple top. It got to below 50. I said, yeah, you're right. So actually, I was selling at 60, 70, 80. I start selling. I sold about half of my future position. I'm looking to sell another quarter below 100, another quarter above 100, and just trying to be conservative. Already
Sure.
I'm up so much, I don't need to take too much risk going
Right.
forward.
Right.
And I also own a lot of call options on silver miner. They're up so much.
Yeah.
So 510,
Well,
thank you. And so far so good. 510 backer. I'm gonna start rolling to the next month. Because it's expiring this week, so I have to sell, and then I'm rolling them over to the next month and beyond. So that's what I'm doing, and taking some profit off. I feel the public market is kind of getting fair value.
a little
If you look
frothy.
at the big leading silver miner, they start raising money, right? So they're selling their project at very low price. It seems
Yeah.
like the private market is much cheaper than the public market. So I'm start taking profit. Put it this way, start taking profit in the big company
Oh, okay.
in the silver future. But I think the future for the future for trader for
Yeah.
investment lying to the smaller one,
The
because
smaller
small
ones that
one is
are
still very
developing their
cheap.
projects that are
Yeah,
very cheap.
exactly. You can
Uh,
still buy penny on the dollar. So that's what I'm looking at for the
yeah,
new year.
very interesting. Well, let me ask you this. So Eric Sprott is sort of similar mind to yours, that once you get over the triple, if you get over $100 an ounce, maybe, in other words, moderation, and maybe stable prices, which will be just tremendous for the miners. If you get
Right. I think it's go over 100 and probably will come down back down. That would be the most reasonable bet,
okay,
right? So
short
the
term.
TD shorted, they have a passionately, they tell tell their investor to short silver
Yeah, I know
at
they do.
80. Their stop out, they told them is 90 something, 92 or something. So I think that will be blowout.
Okay,
I think that will push the short covering lead by TD, right? So they probably will go over 100, triple digit. Afterwards, it's hard to say because there's a different scenario. As I said, I lay
yeah,
off different possibility. We have to really look at China very closely. We look at also World War III. We also talk about Trump, what his policy going to be this year. So
yeah,
there's a lot of things, a lot of factors to see. But if you follow me, we invest at so low silver price, it doesn't hurt to take some profit after.
sure, of course. But the we've had so much. The paper markets have been so much larger than the physical markets, and that has changed to a great extent, both in gold and in silver. Some other technical analysts, well, Michael Oliver, for example, I think is more bullish than you or appear to be, or Eric Sprott is, perhaps. And they point to this astounding short position. And I think when I see TD out there pounding the table for the shorts, basically they're just saying we're short, and we want to cover. And so they're sort of trying to get some gullible people to sell their silver. But yeah, if you've made as much money as you have, Chen, in this, and you bought cheap, bought low, and sell higher, so it certainly makes sense to take some profits. And I think that's very smart to go to the juniors and the companies that are building their project. I mean, we'll name a couple of them, and I want to ask you about some of your favorite silver plays. But just in general, before we started recording, you talked a little bit about you think the midterm elections are going to be a very big deal in terms of where the markets are going to go beyond this year,
Oh,
right?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think for Trump, this is midterm election is as important as his election 2024. Because if the Republican lose control of the House, he will be under prosecution every day. We talk about
Oh,
that
yeah,
before.
they'll try to throw him in jail if they can, if they can't.
Yeah. There are irregularities in some of those things happen, but but for Democrat, they don't have a power to prosecute. But if he got that, they will be lame duck for the rest of his term, and it will disaster. So he will do everything he can to win the midterm by November, which means by September he need to achieve a few objective, right? So I see it. He want the low first. He can do things he can do. Lower oil price, lower oil price to below 50, even at the expense of U.S. producer,
Yeah,
because that's he can do. He can sell strategic oil supply, whatever. So the oil price, gasoline, well, not in
right.
New York, but in a
Very,
lot
very
of
important.
southern state will be 250 or lower, maybe close to $2. So people
Yes,
feel the inflation is weakening, right?
that
So
will be,
people.
that will be helpful. Yes.
That's helpful. That's number one. Number two, which is happening today, is that he wants to lower interest rate. He
Right.
last week he mentioned he's buying mortgages, and then this today
Yeah,
the announcement he's going to prosecute Power, so he will force the Fed to cut interest rate. Even at the future expense, I do not know. He want the lower interest rate to lower the inflation expectation. He also mentioned he want to lower the credit card interest rate to
right.
10% for 1 year.
10%.
For 1 year, think about that, just after
Yeah,
cover the midterm. So and also I believe he probably will try to push out the stimulus check
yeah,
for the tax, for all these import tax duties, right? The tariff rebate. So because tariff, in a lot of cases raise the price, and then he can rebate the tariff to
yeah,
to people to make people feel better. But that depends on Supreme Court ruling of the tariff. I think
right.
it's coming next week well,
Uh,
there's a question on that. If a tariff is supposedly, if the Supreme Court agree with Trump, I think next thing Trump will do is get a rebate for all the people, so make people happy. It happened just before
yeah,
midterm and make people feel good.
yeah.
I also believe he will legalize marijuana. If I don't know you like it or not, most Republicans don't like it, but most Republicans going to vote for Trump anyway.
Oh, yeah, for
But
sure. Yeah.
it's a Democratic
It
agenda.
would
It's
pick up
Democrat.
some of the Democrat votes or
Exactly.
on
It's
the
for the
independent.
vote.
Yeah.
So I think that will happen. So I'm buying marijuana stock. And also he will fund a lot of his favorite project. Some industries
Yeah, for
touching
sure.
his base. I have this coal company doing rare earths. I think I'm very giddy on that. I think that should get funded before the election by September. I hope it's sooner. I hope it's this month or two. So that's what happening. I think those are the Trump agenda for this year. And then
Yeah.
you don't want to fight against the big papa, you want to trade with him. So I don't agree with my friend like Prescott. I know they are very smart. They want to say oil by energy. I don't agree. Maybe after.
You're not bullish on energy at
I
Crescat?
don't bullish on oil. Other energy maybe,
Yeah,
but after midterm, maybe that would be a very good
I
setup
see.
because oil price is artificially pressed down,
Hmm.
and the rebound could be nice,
Yeah,
right?
after the midterms there, yeah.
Because after midterm,
Well,
after
I mean,
September
I
time,
certainly
yeah,
I can see the politics here. I don't agree with hardly any of these things that he's trying to do in the near term, but I understand from a political point of view. I think it's bad economic policy overall. Let the markets work. And of course, you could say that the Federal Reserve hasn't really been a free market organization anyway. They're independent. Anyway, that's beyond the discussion for today. One thing I did mean to ask you, though, with regard to the possibility of China monetizing silver. Can you explain why that might happen? Why that might be a policy that China would put in place?
yeah, that's a question mark. Okay, I do not know.
Yeah,
As China in thousands of years history, half of the thousands of year, maybe more than half, the silver was a currency. People just use silver to trade silver coins, silver what
sure,
nugget, whatever. And the people, Chinese has a culture affinity to silver.
sure.
You go to the bank, it says silver. The bank name of the bank is silver. So if he thinks he's the greatest emperor of Chinese history, if to follow Chinese
Mhm.
custom. He may want his his head on the silver coin. That
Uh-huh.
happened to other Chinese
Yeah,
emperor,
like,
Chinese president before. So maybe there's a chance. Okay, but
yeah,
I think China's market is so big. If China really monetize silver, silver will stay as triple digit almost for a
sure.
long, long time. Yeah, I
Sure.
can
I
see that.
I just wonder, I mean, the Chinese people, unlike Americans, are savers. And they put a lot of money in gold and I guess in silver too.
Yes,
I think
a
the
lot of silver. Think about
common
the
folks own a lot of silver in China.
Yeah, they buying physical. That's the thing
Yeah,
about that. China already
exactly.
almost banned to buy ETF. For
Right.
ETF, you can only buy about 5 grand of silver each day now. And then this week they also banned to buy gold ETF. Seriously, China tried very, very hard to control gold and silver price, believe it or not. But Chinese people just buy physical. What can you do about that? I
Yeah.
just buy some physical.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
Well,
leverage. So I think this is very different. People are very scared. They say, oh, there will be Han brother, there will be a silver will spike and then go down to $10. I don't think so.
I don't think
We're
so
talking
either.
about physical silver.
Right.
It's
That's
not a
what's
lot of
different. That's
physical.
what's
Yeah.
different. And
Yeah,
China
it's
has
totally
to
different.
do, I think it has to do with the loss of confidence in the dollar hegemon and the BRICS, what they're doing over there. So it's a changing world now. I agree. That's why, and Michael Oliver pointed out, once silver broke $50 and $50 was hit twice in the last, I don't know, 20 years or whatever. He said, isn't it, and nothing's going to stop it now. It's going to go much, much higher. And I think he has in mind well over $100 and maybe upwards to 200. That's his view. Time will tell.
Hmm.
But again, the changing world is physical. People are wanting physical, and that's what's changing. As long as people could own papers, gold or silver, and they were confident they could exchange that for dollars, and dollar was as good as gold or silver in their mind, then that game could go on. They could keep the price down. But now the banks are screwing. They've got to cover because the people around the world, and I think in the U.S. too, someone was just saying the other day, they went to Costco and they were selling silver, like 50-ounce bars or something like that. And so it's not just gold, but so Americans are waking up too to that, to
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah. We bought gold and silver from Costco over a year ago at a very low price. I just saw
Uh-huh.
Costco that do a very good job. And also want to mention is India, right? Starting this year, Indian people can keep their silver and then borrow as a collateral in the
Oh,
central bank to borrow against up to 90% of the value of silver at
uh-huh.
10 to 1 ratio, gold and silver ratio.
Oh,
You think about that. So that move also significant that allow Indian people to keep their silver. They don't, in time of need, they want to buy some food, whatever, they don't need to sell their silver anymore. They can just use the silver as collateral to get money to buy food and while keeping the silver, which is
oh,
very,
yeah,
very significant.
sure. No, these are major changes that are taking place that are very bullish, I think, for the precious metals. And speaking of the precious metals, and what about gold? Silver usually at the late end, at that towards the end of bull market, silver outperforms gold, and that's starting to happen now.
Yeah, it is happening. Unfortunately, I don't want to see the bull market finish, but I think that we're getting late stage, okay, of this bull market. And then the gold is there are people talking about the gold actually has more a lot of me, a lot of those Bitcoin people or whatever they start to throw the tower and then join the gold and silver rally. So those are getting pricey. So I'm taking profit in gold, especially gold miners, and it's up so much. I mean, my core options up so much. That's for, open, I'm just openly saying that. But I think the value is in the juniors. Looks like they basically look at the senior producer versus
Mhm.
a mid-tier producer. The
Yeah,
valuation gap is about 2 to 1. Okay. But from mid-tier producer to juniors, it's this huge gap. So
yeah.
there are, I think, a lot of companies. They're good, honest people, and for some reason, the share price wouldn't reflect on their, fundamental. I think this year could have a big catch up. So I'm
Mhm.
very excited about juniors, and I've been keep talking to about juniors this year. For this year, I think I see if silver gold price continue this which I think likely
Mhm.
the junior can have a huge year. There will be a memorable year for a lot of investors.
So you're talking about the mid-tier kind of producers that
Mid-tier producers and juniors. I'm
and
not looking
juniors.
at the big. I used to own a lot of those Kinross, those
Yeah.
Goldfield. I made me so much money. I sold most of them. I have a tiny little bit because I can buy twice more gold by buying a smaller producer. Why do
Yeah.
I need to keep it? But those are doing very well.
Right.
Kinross, you look at the Kinross chart, unbelievable. That the up so many fold and still going up, still
Yeah. Still
outperform the
going up.
mid-tier
But the
because.
percentage gainers are with the smaller guys, I guess.
Yeah, but because they're index buying. People just buying index and the
Oh, yeah.
GLD because the GLD proportionally favor
Right.
the big miner.
Right.
So for us investors, same gold. Why don't I have to pay twice for Kinross
Right.
or
Right.
buy
Good
something
point.
else? You know?
Good point. Well, let me ask you about a couple of names. Equinox was one I think you might still like a little bit because they have a lot of growth potential. I know a recent project they got from Calibre, I'm really bullish on. It's in is it Nova Scotia, I think?
Nova Scotia,
Yeah,
yes, and
right.
brand new miner. It was my favorite number one gold position for 2025. I started taking profit.
Hmm.
I was disappointed about the Brazil transaction, by the way.
Yeah,
Because the Brazil project was sold for one third of the NAV at that time. That
yeah.
was announced over a month ago.
Hmm.
Right. That means either they're not that bullish on Brazil, or maybe they're not bullish on those projects, or they have some cash issue. You know what I mean? They sold it
Yeah,
for cash to China Moli. So of course they pay down their debt. They will be a cash flow machine if the two mines get ramping up as we
yeah,
expected. There's still a lot of upside left, but
right.
not as much torque as I had hoped. But it's a good company. I still own
Hmm.
a lot. I've been taking profit. It's a very good producer, very good performer
Yeah.
for me. My core options almost 10x. So I'm taking off. I
Uh,
no longer own any core options. I think it will be. It's not going to be dramatically going up anymore. I think it
it
will
will
be
continue.
steadily going up,
Yeah,
moving up the chain. I do still think they're a very good takeover target for a big one
one of the big guys. They're really
Like
one.
Kinross.
Yeah.
Why? Because Kinross, he has a headquarter in Canada. They cannot deduct Canadian tax. So their new mine in Canada, what's that? Was quite a few years away, right? Great Bear was
Great Bear,
many
yeah.
many years away. So they
Right.
cannot deduct, but if they own those Canadian mine, they can immediately deduct tax and the tax advantage. And plus, Kinross is so expensive anyway. If you use their share, they
Yeah.
can buy anything. So
Yeah.
so that I still think it's good. I mean, it's
Yeah.
holding a lot of share, but I'm taking profit. Let let's
Let,
see. It's
let me
up to
ask you
you.
about another one that I own, Wesdome Gold Mines.
Yeah, Weston is good. I mean,
Like,
the Kina is great, looking great.
I
The,
mean,
the,
the
the the
profit
stock
margin.
is yeah, it's more range bound, frankly.
Yeah,
I,
I
I
don't know
think
why. It seems to have more. It doesn't seem to respond as well as it should, given the profit margins. It really cash-rich company now.
cash rich, yeah, they need a, really, I feel, I think when the gold producer move the fastest, the quickest, either is a sharp rising production, which they're not going up that much, or doing aggressive share buyback. They're not there yet. I think they could be in a position because they're generating so much free cash flow.
Yeah. All right. Looking at some of the smaller ones, one I'm guessing you probably don't own anymore is Snowline Gold. You
Snowline,
you
yeah,
have some?
I sold too early. I still like it. I've been to the project. It's one of the greatest project. It's based in Yukon.
Yeah.
Originally, I sold it because it was so close to the national park. It's hard to build a road, but actually, on the other hand, the fireweed, right? There's a back road.
Fireweed. Yeah, that's true.
So actually, it is a great project. I think they will be permitted, will be built, one of the great
Yeah.
projects. But I made a lot of money on that, so I'm quite happy. I feel like when I think you got in really early, so you were really
I,
right about
yeah,
Snowline.
I had that one. I've got that one early thanks to Quentin Henning, I suppose. Let me ask you about a couple of other juniors. Goliath Gold is really another very successful
Yeah,
exploration.
exactly. So. So on the Goliath, very interesting story. I had a drink with Quentin. I said, Quentin, I'm in the Snowline, made the money, but I feel like I'm a little bit late on Snowline. What
Yeah,
do you think will be upcoming Snowline? That was 3 years ago. Yeah, we had,
yeah.
yeah, and then Quentin said, take a look at Goliath.
Yep,
So, so I was in the wow, that was a spectacular discovery, spectacular.
it really
The
was. Yeah,
grade they hit was so good, and obviously they're very, very big, high grade is right there. And then the more they drill, the better. I mean, you think about it, almost every hole hit. So it's
yeah.
like massive,
Well,
massive.
and almost every hole has visible gold in it. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
90% of them. It's just an incredible discovery, and there doesn't seem to be any limit to it so far. So it's
exactly. It's like a snow line, but higher grade.
yeah,
So I like it.
different kind of project because
Different kind, yeah.
yeah. So then the next Goliath, I think you've talked about Juggernaut as a
Yeah, 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 yeah.
possibility, almost a look-alike geologically and so forth. Quentin has talked about that.
Yeah.
That looks like in one of the most exciting exploration stories, lower price still, I think,
Yeah, yeah, they're going to start exploring this year, I
this
heard,
year. Yeah,
and then they are the same
right.
geologist, right? The
The same
chief geo,
geologist.
actually, they
Yeah,
came to my panel. Chief geo is the same as Goliath, so they have to share the same team, same founder,
yeah.
very similar share structure. I mean, actually, the second time they're doing it better, they're tighter. The share structure is tighter than ever. So it's good. I mean, we'll see the result, but from what they have seems very exciting. Something looks very good. And then in the same area, there's another company we talk a little bit also from Quinton. It's SK.
Yes.
SK. It's a heartbroken story, right? They went to $3 and then down to 30 cents.
Yeah.
Not long ago,
Hmm.
because at that time they tried to do the very expensive hit. They didn't hit a home run,
Right.
and then they market get turned south. They don't want to dilute. Those people they own so many shares. They
Yeah.
don't want to dilute, so they just keep their tight, tight, tight,
Yeah.
waiting for better time. And then last year they seem to make a discovery into the south. I checked with Quentin. He seemed quite excited. Again, Quentin is the director of the company, so
Uh-huh.
he's an insider. Okay, so he seems very excited. I talked to the management. They seems also very excited. And then they were able, to their credit, they were able to keep $3 million on the balance sheet. So they don't
Hmm.
need to do any raise this year to drill.
Oh,
So
good.
they
That's good.
hit. I'm not sure they go back to $3, but you can go much higher if they
Sure.
really hit, and then they can raise as much higher price. So actually, that's another company I'm quite excited about.
American Pacific is one you like a lot, I think. Huh?
Yeah, they just announced today they're going to dividend out the other company called ICG, which actually is a Nevada-based gold and silver company. It's just pre-IPO. Okay, they're going to IPO very soon. They run by very, very well-known team. So this project used to be Oceana used to be very
Uh-huh.
interesting. Oceana, they remember I follow Oceana for a long time. They
Yes.
At that time, they have problem with Philippines. They stop mining in Philippines. They have a cash crunch, so have to give up. Originally, Oceana want to buy the project to build it. They already signed the agreement, the
Uh-huh.
first payment, but then they have to pull it out. So that's why the project is still owned by American Pacific. Now they spin out and they're going to drill it in this bull market. Look at
Should
I've
be
been to
great.
that.
Yeah.
It's a historical mine, so it's gold and silver everywhere, not just gold, also silver, and in Nevada, near surface. So this can have a big run. They already announced. They announced today they're going to dividend out the share. Just so you own the share, you can get those share dividend. So
Oh, okay. All right.
and they also have another company they call Vizsla Copper. They own so many Vizsla Copper share. Vizsla Copper doing very well, right? Same management team as Vizsla Silver, and that's almost worth the current market cap just on Vizsla Copper. And then they have those dividend coming. So I think this one
So
going on.
that's
And
one of your
also,
fa I take it that's one of your favorites and among them.
no, I just think they are also have a lot of cash, right?
Uh,
So they have a very what do I say? very frustrating past few years, put it this way. They have a big spike initially, and then it came down to the earth. And then they are building a very long base for quite a few years. So it's similar to SK. So the stock was dormant for a very long time.
Yeah.
Part of it, in the meantime, management and keep building value. Now, if you look at the valuation is so cheap, I think those kind of stock like SK is up a lot today. I think SK just on the announcement they're going to drill, it's up 30-40%.
Wow.
I
Okay.
check.
Just
I
today.
think American Pacific can do that too.
Right.
Just anything on ICG on the spin-off, they do the drilling and then the IPO, then people can see the valuation 1 + 1 equal to 2, right? So that the stock can double. So that type of a thing is just getting too cheap, has been dormant for so long, but they have strong balance sheet, which is very important. They don't need to raise money, they don't need to dilute. The stock can just run.
Oh, I have to take a closer look at that one, Chen. Just a couple more golds I want to ask you about. A Golden Cross is one that it looks extremely good to me. It hasn't moved very much. My good friend Steve Azadian was wanting me to ask you what your opinion is on that one and maybe why it hasn't started moving yet.
Yeah, they seem to have a hitting what they plan to do, and the multiple layer, and then they've been hitting that, and they're very close to the other Northern Cross, right? Well, what's the other Southern
Mhm.
Cross? Some
Yeah,
one of the billion
right.
dollar
Southern
company,
Cross. Yeah.
Southern Cross, yeah,
Yeah.
in trading in Australia.
Hmm.
So I think just by the proximity this could be a takeover target because the other company was a billion, right? Almost a billion last time I checked. So they can buy them like in a heartbeat. Um, yeah, because a lot of those, because if the other company if you want to build a gold mine, sometimes you need elbow room, right? So same thing for Oran and the other one in Finland. So you need the ground, just for the ground to build a tailing or build something or
Yeah.
build open pit. So just by the proximity, it could worth more.
Just for the
The
proximity.
market doesn't appreciate, but I think that this is another good one.
Well, I think that I like its geological prospects as well.
Mhm.
But anyway, one more thing here. I want to ask you about the Contango Dolly Varden merger. What are your thoughts about that?
It's very interesting. Tango is a producer. Dolly Varden is an exploration company.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
With a
interested
lot
in
of
both.
silver. With a lot
Yeah,
of silver,
a
whereas
lot of
Contango
silver.
just
Yeah,
gold.
yeah. I always thought, okay, just we maybe we talk about it, didn't. And Dolly Varden and it's a perfect merger candidate for Goliath because they're next to each other. They expand and then you build a big super mine there. But seems like Dolly Varden took a first shot. Yeah, I think it's good. It's a good for the industry,
Yeah.
and the producers are more visionary. They start buying exploration company. I
Mhm.
think it's a good for the long run. Yes.
Well, I interviewed Sean Kuhn last week. I'm going to be interviewing Rick Van Nieuwenhuizen later this week to
Hmm.
get their take on this. But it's pretty interesting because Contango is a very profitable company. It's got, from its first mine, it's got a couple more to come, as you know. And then the idea that I think that Dolly Varden is really endowed with a lot of high-grade silver prospects. And Rick Van Nieuwenhuizen is a good operator. He knows what he's doing. It's an excellent geologist and very experienced. And so that's a that's an exciting one from my perspective. Chen, let me ask you then, maybe name a couple of your favorite silver stocks. I think Avino Silver, you were really quick on that one. You made a lot of money on that. That sucker went up very fast. It was one of the first ones to really rally. I suppose maybe you're not as, I don't know if you hold any now, but Apollo Silver, I think it's one you like a lot. I believe you like Silverco a lot and Cerro de Pasco. Maybe talk about those.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It happened to be the first blood, like the first big movers in this market. I always like to buy the company at the rock bottom price for some kind of artificially depressed price, right? Avino trading at 40 cents from 90 cents to 40 cents because Core was trying to dump their shares. I think it's 60 million, if I remember, 6
Yeah.
million shares, right? So Bay Street heard of this first. So they drove the stock down from 90 cents to 40 cents. We're talking about US, right?
Crazy.
So I was just telling my subscriber, just buy the hell out of it, buy at 40 cents as much as you can. So we bought at 40 cents, okay? And then they quickly rebound to 90 cents and $1. I said, okay, let's sell it, take profit because easy money. But I talked to David Wolfen, I think that was last year, the December, so over a little bit over a year ago, in
Yeah.
December of 2024, yeah, December, time passed.
That'd
I
be fun.
talked to David Wolfen, and then they start have free cash flow. I was in shock because I followed the company for so long, for a decade. They never really have a consistent free cash flow.
Yeah. Nowadays,
Uh,
let's, yeah.
Right. So it was like, and then every time the share go up a little bit, they have to raise money, which really hurt me. I'm not happy with that. Me, I mean, I'm shareholder. I'm not a mining guy. I'm more from making money, but he really have free cash flow. The coming free cash flow really coming from this new project, which they bought from
Yeah.
Core, penny on the dollar. So I
That's right.
realized there's a sea change. So at that time, little over a year ago in December, the stock still traded at 90 cents. And I sold at 90 cents. I told my sister, buy back as much as you can because this is going higher. So guess what? It does. I mean, so from 90 cents, it's all the way today to $6 a year
Wow.
later.
What a
So
run.
why? Because those juniors, they, put it this way, we know what the juniors, when they before they reach free cash flow, they keep raising money.
Yeah.
They have so many investors, they lost so much, are so
Yeah.
pissed at this. Nobody really willing to look. Once you have free cash flow, the story changed,
Oh,
right? Story
exactly.
changed, and then this become a superstar. Everybody chasing it. It was number one performing silver stock last year. I'm so happy I have David Wolfen with me early last year. I told them this is a good stock. And then everybody was in the Metal Investment Panel make a fortune on that. That was number one silver stock last year. And he will come back this year too. He will come back to to my panel in February and we will talk about that what's going on. But I
And
think
is he going
the
to be with you in Toronto at the MIF?
yeah, Toronto. Yeah, I think Core de Leon, they
Uh-huh.
sold the project to them because they
Right.
couldn't get a permit. Now they got a permit, fully permit. I think they will make at least make a run for them to them
Oh,
because
really?
Core after they merge with New Gold, they are not, 20% silver only. They 80% are copper and gold and copper, right? So they need to own a silver project to make themselves a silver company.
Yeah.
Avino will be perfect because they used to own that La
Yeah.
Preciosa, it's called the project. It's one
Yeah.
of the biggest silver mine project in Mexico. Coeur couldn't get a permit because they want to open pit it, and then Mexico, Mexico left-wing government, they said no open pit, so they couldn't get, so they sold it to Avino. Now Avino get a permit, but underground.
Underground.
Okay, underground. They're very smart. That David Wolfen, they are miners for generation. His father and
Oh, I know his
you
father.
know
I knew
him
his father
for
very well. He's no longer with us.
for a
Yeah.
long time. I know both. So they
Mhm.
know it. They run that area. So they're very smart. They come in, they got a permit underground. Now they have this project. They can organically easily go to 10 million ounce. I think 5, 10. They just go up, without
And
dilution. But the core can come in to say, I buy you, I can do 10 million, in a year because they have so much cash.
sure,
Core after
Core is very
merging
cash rich. Yeah.
with the new gold, they're going to have at least 2.5 billion. That was last year's price. 2.5 billion free cash flow this year. Two and a half. You
Wow.
think
So
about
you
they
really
buy
like,
Avino like this. So that's my take. I want to ask David Wolfen when he's on my panel, is he willing to sell? What price he want to sell? Anyway, so that's my Avino. I'm
yeah.
pretty happy. I'm still own a lot, but I
Uh-huh.
sold a lot for profit, and still I like that. Apollo Silver is very interesting, have a very near-term catalyst coming. That is, they get social licensing in Mexico. Remember,
That's
Magic
big.
Silver used to have a huge discovery, and
Yeah.
then they got Hidos didn't like them. They kicked them out. I heard it
Yeah.
was just their geologist was, just was sleeping with their woman or doing whatever things the local people didn't like, and then they're upset, they
Ah,
kick them out. So
for
I
whatever
do not know.
reason.
Okay, I just heard the rumors.
I
That
think
was the
that was
rumor.
I think that was one of Mag Silver's favorite. I mean, it was a
Exactly. And
primary
then the
project.
worst zero. So
Yeah.
so they have a deal that this yeah, what happened to Apollo? They come in, they said, oh, talk to Max, let's do a deal. I did because they did the plan, right? They have the people, they know how to get the social license, right? And then they just the guy running Apollo, Andrew Bowring, he's a very, very well-known guy. He
Yes,
run the
yes,
American Listen.
yes.
I think Apollo will be listed on the New York
New
Stock
York Stock
Exchange,
Exchange, yeah.
yeah, this year as well. So they will be the next American listing. So I think right now is still a good time. You can even the stock appreciate because if they got social license in Mexico, that's one of the greatest project in discovery in Mexico. And then plus they have this California silver project, which silver critical metal he will get a permit, right? So he has a two company in one and then list in New York Stock Exchange. It will be perfect. It will be dream come true. That's one of my favorite too. I mentioned that quite a few times. Next, the silver core. We discussed that almost like just a few weeks ago, right,
Yeah.
Jay? It doubled.
Yeah.
It doubled. Great call, Jay.
Oh yeah.
That was a really, really
That
good,
really
very
took off.
quick.
Yeah. The timing
Easy
was perfect
money.
on that.
So
Yeah.
people listen to your,
Oh, I
your
don't think
show.
it had that.
Congratulations. Anybody listen to your silver core interview should make a lot of money. Otherwise,
Well,
they're
that's right. I
doomed.
mean,
Yeah.
you have to be lucky once in a while on timing. So that
They're not
worked
coming.
out.
Its valuation is so compelling.
Yeah.
And then they just need to listen to your interview. They should double their money
Yeah.
in a few weeks. So that's why I think the junior, there's a lot of opportunities. You can
I think
easily
there are.
double,
Yeah.
triple,
So,
maybe
Jen,
more.
I have to ask you about Sarah. We're just kind of running out of time here, but Sarah DePasco has been a favorite of yours. It's sort of languished as COVID, regulatory issues, and so on and so forth. But now I think you think it's ready to pop.
Yeah, I had a long discussion with the management about a week ago. I told them, they were trying very hard to get a Peru president to sign. They have a new president because the old president, she was impeached. A new president, new manager. It always takes longer than they thought. Then the Guy was making presentation on my panel, say imminent. And ask Guy, what does imminent mean? You cannot just keep telling me it's imminent. But
Yeah.
what happened? The United States captured the Venezuela president Maduro, right? So I told Guy, I told Steven, told them, and there's another avenue they're working on, or they're getting very close, which is getting funding from United States. So if they got the funding with the United States, hopefully this month, all right, they get it done, that would be a very, very strong statement. And then it basically telling Peruvian government, don't mess with us, right? We could come in and arrest your president. Okay, so I think that's a strong statement. They think it's a great idea. Let's push. At least United States government we have angle, which is
Mhm.
potential government shutdown by the end of the January again,
Yeah.
right? So they can use that. Say, why don't you just give us money before the shutdown? Who knows? I hope there's no shutdown, but that's a very good angle. And
Yeah.
what happens in a few weeks, we'll see.
All right, Chen, I can't let you go before I ask you about one of your favorite biotechs, and that's NerveGen Pharma.
Yeah, yeah, mhm.
Just
Yeah.
give us take a minute or two to talk about that.
Yeah, that's wonderful, wonderful news. And they uplist on NASDAQ, right? The same symbol as Canada and GEN. And the stock actually, since we talked last year, it more than doubled. I think they were on the Fox News, on ABC News. I don't know, the people saw the video before
Yeah,
and after. People can really walk, and then they were shocked, right? So right now, they already listed on NASDAQ. I think they probably depends on where they are with the FDA. Okay, so they probably I would expect them to do a big raise sometime this
yeah,
year, and then to fully fund them for long, long time. So we already up a lot, and just we already discussed. I took some off, but I think after this race, this will be fully funded, and then we can potentially buy more. I
right.
think
I mean,
yeah,
it's
the future looks very, very good, and I'm so
almost a
happy.
miracle in terms of people with spinal cord
Exactly, I'm
injuries
so
being
happy
able to
for the
walk
patient.
again.
Yeah.
able to walk again and move their hands and do things.
Yes.
And it has other potential applications, neurological applications.
Absolutely.
So it's a
Absolutely.
very exciting story, Chen, just one of many that you tell your subscribers about. And I should mention, and I didn't, chenpix.com is where to go to sign up for Chen's letter. Very reasonably priced letter, and a lot of institutional people are subscribers to Chen's work. So, Chen, thank you so much for spending time with us. Always great to see you and to hear your thoughts. And I'll look forward to meeting up with you in Vancouver too. I'm planning to be there at your conference. So,
Okay, great. Thank you.
all
Looking
right.
forward to meet you. Quentin going to be on my panel, so
Oh, wonderful. Well, I look
yeah,
forward to hearing what he has to say as well.
yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
folks, that's it for this show. Later this week, I'm going to talk to Gwen Preston at West Red Lake Gold Mines. They are now in commercial production, and Rick Van Nieuwenhuizen later this week as well, Contango Ore, and he will discuss the merger with Dolly Varden Silver. So until we meet again, goodbye and God's blessings to you.